Hello guys and welcome to a new video of the Football Talk. Today we're ranking EPL teams through tiers. You can see them right on the screen. I have with me today Dan, Idris,
Hello,
KB,
everyone.
and Rob.
How's it going?
Hello everybody. Okay, so let's kick in. Let's start. We're gonna start with Arsenal. So, where do you think Arsenal will end up this season? Let's start. Whoever wants to go first.
So I think Arsenal are going to be Europa League contenders. As we talked in the last video, I think Arsenal can be a surprise this season and perform above the expectations they've had this season, like starting the season. I think their win against United showed that they can be a good team, and I think they'll be a Europa League contender.
Yeah, I think I agree with KB. I think for the Europa League places, it will come down to Leicester, Arsenal, United, and I think at the end it will come down to the games they play against each other. So far Arsenal have beaten United, and I think that will make a difference come the end of the season.
Yeah, I agree. I also think they'll probably finish in the Europa League spots. They're a good team, but they also don't have a lot of creativity going forward. So they probably need a bit more of that because they're so defensive. If they win, they're probably gonna win 1-0. So they just don't need to concede.
I actually disagree. I do think they're gonna find their way into the Europa League, but I think Arsenal is a mid-table club. They have like two good players that carry the whole team on their back and get the job done somehow.
Okay.
But yes, they will.
No, I think they have that. Like the team is coming together. And it's not just about the good players they have, it's about the chemistry they have. And I think just as a unit, they're coming together. And I think they can really make it into the top of the Europa League contenders and maybe make it to the Europa League.
To be honest, I agree. I agree with Dan, actually. I agree with Dan. Yeah, I don't.
Thank you.
Yeah. They're just. I mean, that win against United, like everybody thought they're doing well, but if you looked at it, and then they lost to Aston Villa 3-0 the game after. I watched the highlights for that game. They had 10 players in the box defending, and Aston Villa still scored from there. How did that happen?
Yeah, but Aston Villa this year are a good team, so like comparing them to Arsenal in that way, I don't think is fair. Like looking at their results, you could look at the result against Liverpool too. So it's not really something to compare just one win against the other. But I think it's what Arsenal are showing in their games this season and not just in one individual game, you know?
Okay.
But with Arsenal, it's just pass it to Aubameyang. That's not going to work the whole season. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's not going to work the season.
So now we have kind of a draw. We have two going for Europa League and two going for mid-table. I honestly think that Arsenal might be a Europa League contender, finish around 7th. So I guess we put Arsenal in the Europa League contenders tier. Okay, next
Happy
up,
with that.
I go for Burnley. What do you think about Burnley?
Relegation. Relegation.
Relegation battle. Relegation battle.
Mid-table team, very defensive team, will get the draws they need.
Okay.
I think Burnley will be in the relegation battle. I think they'll just make it out. I think they'll be in 17th. I think Sean Dyche is enough of a good manager, and his players are too committed to him to let him down and not fight for the points that they need to stay up. I think the Burnley players will run through a brick wall for Sean Dyche, so I think they'll stay up. It will be tough. It will be close, but I think relegation battle for Burnley and staying up at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree. I think.
Look, I agree with Robbie.
Yeah, they always like stay up and pretty comfortably, but I think this year it's gonna start getting harder. Like they've been in the Premier League for like I don't know, like 3-4 years now, maybe 5, and they don't even make any signings. So now it's going to be like it's not gonna work anymore. It's getting tougher. So
yeah. I honestly.
Yeah, Robbie had a good point with Sean Dyche, and Dries touched on that in the last video. And I think he's a good manager. I think like he was right about what their players are ready to do for their manager.
Yeah. Next up, Brighton. What do you think?
I think Brighton are going to be a mid-table team. I think they're going to be in 15th, and just I don't think they'll actually fight for survival. I think they'll be comfortable, but I think they have enough quality to get the results they need to stay up. I think they'll be in around 15th, not really fighting for their life, but not 100% safe. It's gonna be tough, but not too tough for Brighton. I think they have enough quality. They showed in the first games they played against Chelsea and against good opposition that they have good quality. They've got a few quality players such as Lamptey, Mope, and Basuma. I rate Basuma as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. They're looking much better on attack, but they need to really work on converting these chances into goals. Like Trossard can't be hitting 3 posts in a game. They're not going to win this game. Not going to work.
We touched on that in the last video. I think they have that X factor on their team to make it out of the relegation battle and into the mid-table teams. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely looking better than before.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they're a good team. They just need to start winning some games, because if you look at the table, they're not doing that well, although they're playing a lot better this year. So.
Okay, so Brighton mid-table. So next up, Aston Villa.
Mid-table as well.
As a Liverpool fan, I'm saying Europa League. I saw what I saw. I didn't like it, but I saw what I saw.
I would say mid-table.
As another Liverpool fan, I'm gonna, just because I'm kind of pissed off. I think they'll finish like bang in the middle. I think they'll finish 10th.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've started well. They have a good squad. Their central defenders are actually really good. Both Mings and Konsa are pretty decent.
But those were
also,
the same two that were there last year, so I don't know.
Right, but I think the extra year has given them more chemistry. Also, Mings has had a full season now under his belt without injuries, which is something that he struggled to do before.
Yeah.
Also, the addition of Martinez, I think, was quality, as well as Barkley. I think they've done good business, as well as Watkins. So I think Villa will have a good season. I think 10th is about fair. I don't see them challenging for the Europa Leagues. I don't see them challenging United, Arsenal, the Evertons, the Wolves. So
yeah,
I'd say bang in the middle.
Yeah.
I think best of the rest.
I don't know. I thought like they're a good team. They're doing well, but I don't know. I think Europa League might be a bit too high. Like they're doing well. They're winning some big games, but then like they played Leeds. I think it was not last week, the week before, and they lost 3-0. Like if you're a good team, you're not losing 2-0 to. I mean, like Leeds are a good team.
Yeah, don't take that away from Leeds, because
They didn't
Leeds
even
have been
score
showing
one.
up this season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah, I'd put them right in the mid-table too.
And so far, Watkins has only scored like against Liverpool and Arsenal, so he needs to score against the other teams too.
Well,
Like,
he shows up against big teams.
yeah.
okay, next up, a big team, Manchester City.
Ooh.
Champions League.
Champions League, definitely.
Yeah. I don't think.
I know they're having it. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think they'll finish too high, but Champions League.
Yeah, I think they're having just a rough patch, a rough start to the season, but they'll pick up. They have the talent to pick up. They have the depth to pick up, and an amazing coach in Pep Guardiola. So Champions League for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, they'll find their way.
Okay.
I think City may be the only team, or one of the two teams in the league that can go on a run of like 7-8 wins, and I think that'll carry them easily to the Champions League, and if not, even towards the title.
All right. Next one, Liverpool.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely top 4. Even when they're inconsistent, they're still winning games at this point. So they've had 1 or 2 bad games this season, and they're still 3rd. I think they're just going to stay in the top 4 for the rest of the
They were
season.
bad games, don't forget.
Really bad games.
No, but I put them as champions. So
Yeah.
I think they have that winning mentality. They did it last year. They can do it again this year, although they have some injuries, but they have it.
Yeah.
They
I
have
mean,
it all the
normally
way.
they wouldn't have been able to pick themselves up after a bad game. Like they just go on a losing streak, but I think that problem is fixed. So it's a matter of injuries.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to talk about the injuries. I think the injury is going to be a big problem for Liverpool. Their whole back line is injured. And so I think that'll be a problem for them. But I think, as KB touched on, they have the winning mentality. And so, for example, this stat shows that they have this winning mentality. Liverpool have won 28 points from being in losing position since the beginning of last season. So I think that shows you that they have it in their head that even they're in a tough situation, even if they're losing, they'll still grind out results. And I think that will carry them into the top 4 for sure, and hopefully the champions as well.
Yeah, honestly, even with the injuries they've got, I think Liverpool is going to still finish in the top 4. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
So let's keep in on Merseyside. Everton now.
Ooh.
Europa League contenders.
Europa League contender.
Yes,
for sure.
definitely.
Yeah, all of us agree on
Yeah.
this one.
Europa League, yeah. I think they'll
Great start to the
just
season.
outside, but yeah, contenders for sure.
Okay. Next
If
up,
they can keep their suspensions to a minimum, I think they'll make it.
exactly.
Instead of injuring all of them.
He's a bit salty after the Liverpool, after the derby.
Okay. Now we've got Leicester. Vardy's having a party. Where do you think is gonna end up?
Top
I
4,
put
top
them
4.
in the Europa League contenders.
Top 4.
With Danny
Leicester have been
Dortmund.
proving themselves season after season. Everyone said when they won the league, Leicester's gonna go to shit. They've been doing well, like even better. New roster, they're doing even better.
Wait,
I say they have a chance.
how many do we have in Europa League contenders already?
We've got Arsenal. We've got Everton. So one more place, you know.
Yeah.
Are we going to go for the top 4 contenders or top 4 just the 4?
Just the 4.
Just the 4.
Because I think Leicester are the closest team to challenge to the top 4. I think last year I think the lockdown really gave them big problems. I think if there was no lockdown, they would have coasted to a top 4 finish. They've got a very good team, and I think they've got a good manager as well. Being a Liverpool fan,
Great
I know
manager.
the good parts and the bad parts of Brendan Rodgers, but I think that he's developed as a coach, and I think he's actually doing quite well. I think you can see his different approach. For example, in the game against City, where they didn't play well, they were kind of dominated, but they absolutely ground out a result against a top class team.
Exactly.
And I don't think that was something that was part of Brendan Rodgers' arsenal before him coming to Leicester. So I think Leicester are going to be close to top 4, but I think they'll end up in the Europa League.
Yeah, I think they'll probably end in the Europa League too. I mean, they're a good team, but like now they have a lot of injuries and they're winning. But I mean, when they come back, they should be doing better. But like even last season, it was the same like players, and like Manchester should never have gotten top 4. Like Leicester lost way too many games. Like they made it too easy for us. We every time we had the game to get to top 4, we didn't win it, but then somehow we still made it. So yeah, I mean, I feel like they need that extra bit of like quality or consistency still. But maybe
I think
they'll
the
do it
soul
this
of
year.
Sir Alex Ferguson pulled you up to the top 4.
I'm still salty about it.
Anyways, if you've got too many teams in one category, we'll change them at the end. We'll see.
Yeah.
Debate that.
Fair enough.
Next one is Leeds, new promoted side. What do you think about them and Bielsa?
Mid-table.
Mid-table team. They're a really good team, and I think for this season it's a mid-table finish, but like it's promising for the coming season.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
for right now, I'd put them
Yeah.
at mid-table for the season.
I think definitely like they're a good team, but like they need some time to make their style of play work in the Premier League, because their style of play, like it doesn't just work anywhere. So it's gonna take a while for it to win. Like they go 1 week and then draw like 3-3 against Liverpool, and then the next they lose 4-1 against Crystal Palace. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
They just like the players need to especially because they got a lot of new players since last year, so they need to like know more about what Bielsa is doing, and especially the way they play, like it's very risky. So they have to be consistent and like not lose the ball, and they can do any mistakes at the back, because if they lose the ball, it's wide open at the back.
But I think they can also use that to their advantage. So not many people are used to their style of play.
Yeah.
And this is how a lot of newly promoted teams do well on their first season. And then the next season, it just goes bad.
Will end up mid-table as well. I think they're a good team. I think they're like the Wolves of this season, but not good enough to challenge for the Europa League. But I can see them easily being like the giant killers. I think they can win games against top teams. And so that's why I think they'll end up mid-table, but a good team and a team to few, to be honest.
Yeah, totally.
They have a good balance between attack and defense. Like they have a good defensive line and good attackers. So like they have what it takes, but just not there yet.
Okay. Next up is Fulham.
Dead bottom.
Relegation zone.
Like if there was a 21st place, I'd put them there.
Yeah.
Although Mitrovic is a good striker, but that's it. That's all I have to say. That's literally all I have to say about Fulham.
I feel sorry for Scott Parker. I think he's a nice guy. I think he's not a bad manager. I think
He's a nice guy. That's a great quality for a manager, Rob.
I don't think he's a bad manager. I just think they don't have enough quality. I think they're banking on Mitrovic, who he's not bad, but he's not amazing either. Like I don't think he's up to par. Like if you look at the other teams who've been promoted in the past and who've gone on to do well in the Premier League, like Wolves, and like this level of strikers on another level. For example, Jimenez, I think, is a lot better than Mitrovic. I think for example,
consistently average.
Yeah, exactly, and I don't think that's enough.
It's self-explanatory. Fulham are sitting at 17th place, yet they have the most crosses in the Premier League, and just crossing it to Mitrovic, and they're not even scoring.
Just cross and pray.
Good stats.
184 crosses.
Wow. Okay.
That's some big numbers.
Yeah. So Fulham is in relegation. Another team that I think is close to Fulham's level is West Brom. What do you think about this team?
22nd place.
Yeah, relegation.
Yeah, I think they should just save some time and go back to the Championship right now.
Yeah.
That would save them a lot of time and effort.
I rate Slaven Bilic. I actually like Slaven Bilic as a manager. I think he's a decent manager. I think he's lost a bit of his powers because of the earring that he's put in, which looks a bit weird. I think he's a good manager. I think they can cause a few upsets this season, but they're going down.
Okay.
Well, if you call winning against United an upset, I don't think that's going to be an upset because.
I think to make our host and our friend happier, I think we'll say that if they beat United, it'll be an upset. Come on, let's be nice.
Okay.
I'll try to be nice.
Since you're talking about United, let's get into United. I think they're top four. Honestly, they will do it at the end.
Whoa.
Wow.
I'm a United fan. I say mid-table this year. Mid-table.
Look, United have what it takes to be in the top four, but they also have what it takes to be in the relegation battle. So they're really...
No, we're the type of team who might get into the semi-finals of the Champions League, but we're gonna still end in the mid-table of the Premier League. You know, like...
No, for sure I put them in the mid-table. They're surely not even contenders for the Europa League. Sorry, Omar, but... they're surely not contenders. They're surely not top four caliber and surely not Europa League contenders. Like in the past seasons, I think they've kept it late to recover from their bad starts, but this season's different. This season's very different.
I think especially like as a United fan, I feel like there's a lot of uncertainty at the moment for me to give a final decision because we don't know if Ollie's staying or not by the end of the season. If he goes, you probably want to give the other manager some time. So if he doesn't do great, it's understandable. You know, he needs to get some players in and he needs to get the players to know his tactics. If Ollie stays, there's also uncertainty because you never know what this team is going to give you. Like, we might go and just like we did, we'll will beat a team like Leipzig, and then we'll just go and lose against Brighton or something. I know we beat them, but they should have beat us easily.
I mean, it's almost December and they're sitting at 14th place. But the thing is, we've seen them do it time and time again in the second half of the season. I don't like Manchester United, but they've done it time and time again, and it's really annoying.
But that's the thing. I don't think it's going to happen this year. Last year, we were able to do it because all the other teams were just dropping so many points. But I don't think that's going to happen again because the teams are getting better. It's getting more competitive. They don't have as much. Like it's not going to be easy for teams to drop points. Like they know every game is an important win this year. Last year we finished 4th with the same amount of points to which we finished like 7th or 8th the year before. So that just shows that even though we got 4th, it's not a really like good 4th. We were so far down. Like Liverpool and City were so far ahead of us. So.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think it's going to be at the wheel at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So I think we all agree on mid-table, right?
For me, I think United can be challenging for the Europa League. To be honest, I think it would be wrong to say they won't. Like I don't have them in the Europa League, but they're definitely contenders. I think McAdam has a point that I think United have quality players that
for
are
sure.
top 4 quality. I don't think, sorry for all the Ole fans, I don't think Ole is good enough.
No, I
think United are extremely inconsistent, which is so frustrating because they can, and I think their inconsistency in some way has saved Ole his job. Like he'd go on a really poor run of losses and then win an important game or two, and then that keeps him in the job.
Yeah.
Even if Ole leaves this season, I still think United will be challenging for the Europa League because having the hectic calendar, the hectic schedule, I think it'd be still tough for a new manager to come and make radical changes, even if it's like of the caliber of Pochettino or someone. But I think United have the quality. I think they need a few players to make it really click, like at left back, at CDM maybe, and also I'm sorry, but I don't rate Maguire. I think he's an old-fashioned centre back. I think he's slow. He's good in the air. He's not bad on the ball, but I don't think he's the caliber of centre back that United have had in the past. Controversial, but that's what I think. And so I think United will be challenging for the Europa League places, but it will be tough.
I think it also depends on if United stay in the Champions League or not. I think it would really help them if they get out of the Champions League and put all their focus on the Premier League to get better results in the league. But even with that, I'd still put them in mid-table.
Okay, so we've got Champions League, we've got Europa League, but the majority opted for mid-table. So Ole is driving the team to mid-table this season.
It must hurt Mac to put them there.
Okay, so our final team of the top 6 now is Chelsea. Another, I think, will be a controversial topic. Maybe not. Let's see what you think about Chelsea.
Solid second, to be honest.
I think they'll win it this year, to be honest. I'll put them at top 4.
I'd put them in top 2. Top 4 for sure, and they're challenging for the top spot. I think it's either first or second. Their new signings are clicking well together, and I think like the whole team is coming well together, and they can challenge for the title this year.
Like slightly inconsistent at the start. Some games which they've still managed to draw or win at the end. So I think they're doing a good job.
Yeah, but I think those games at the beginning where they didn't win or they dropped some points, I think those were because they were still sorting out the issues at the back. Like Kepa was still playing at the start. He was still experimenting with the back 2, the center backs, to find the best pairing. I think now Zuma's on form and he's playing pretty well. He's also scoring some goals. I think, I mean, let's see if they can carry on with this form, but I think they'll be doing well.
Yeah, I think they found their missing pieces for the season, and they've covered the positions in which they were lacking in the previous seasons. And the first few games, they had some missing players. Mendy wasn't playing at first, and then you had Werner, who had an inconsistent start, but I think he's starting to get good games, and Ziyech is playing, so yeah, I have him in the top 2.
Yeah.
I think Chelsea will be top 4. I think they've made good signings. I think they have the firepower to really cause some damage and put away the lower teams. But I think it's maybe a year or two too early for Chelsea. They remind me a lot of Liverpool a couple of years ago, when we do really well, but then we'd be inconsistent, lose a couple of games, and feel like we've gone back to square one. I think Chelsea do have quality players, but I think the thing that's missing from Chelsea is none of the players they signed or none of the players that they brought in have ever won anything. And like, for example, Werner coming from Leipzig, top team, competitive, but never won anything. I think the same thing you can say for Havertz coming from Leverkusen, Mendy as well. Okay, obviously you have Thiago Silva, who's won a lot of things, but I don't think we can count the French league as a competitive league, to be honest.
Well, how about the Italian league, sir?
Well, that was like a million years ago. So
yeah, but you don't lose that winning mentality, that championship
now, and he won it
mentality.
when he was 18 at AC Milan. So I don't think it counts.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, yeah, Thiago Silva maybe is one of the people who's won something before, but I think it takes some time to get that winning mentality. I think Chelsea are a threat going forward. I think they'll be challenging in a couple of years. I think this year's maybe a bit too early, but yeah, a solid top 4 team.
The thing with Chelsea is that's interesting is that if like the strikers aren't in form and they're not scoring or they might be missing their chances, bro, like Chilwell, Zuma, they'll just come. Don't worry, like they're all scoring for fun. Like it's so frustrating. Like in my fantasy team, I tried to put somebody from Chelsea and then everybody else scores except for him. Like everybody scores on a different day. You don't know who's gonna score. So yeah.
Yeah, I honestly,
everybody can score, so that's good for them. Like if somebody's not feeling it on that day, like somebody else is gonna score.
yeah, I honestly think, don't get me wrong, Chelsea will finish in the top 4. However, it's an overhyped team. I don't think they're gonna win the league this season, even with the transfers they made. As Robbie said, they're still a bit like they're not still and just not clicking together as well as we all thought they're gonna be at the beginning of the season. Anyways,
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
now we're staying in London. We're heading to Spurs.
Top 4.
Second place. Second
Top
place.
4.
Depends, if Son is injured, then it might take a bad turn,
Yeah.
but they're looking really good.
Yeah.
I've got
As I said before, as I said before, Harry Kane, Son, Gareth Bale, it's a trio you don't want to mess with. It's a dangerous trio. So yeah, I'd put them in top 4. Very confidently, I'd put them in top 4. I know I said before, maybe they're in 4th place, 5th place, but right now I'm pretty confident to put them solid top 4.
Yeah.
I think they'll get to 4th. I think it will depend, as KB said, on Kane's fitness and Son's fitness. But obviously, they have a really good front line right now. And I think Mourinho has this grit that he will grind some results out that will push them into the top 4. I think 4th is about right for Spurs.
Yeah.
The good thing going on for them is you normally either have Kane scoring all the goals or Son scoring all the goals. And this season, it feels like they're finally working together. Kane has 8 assists and Son has 8 goals. It's self-explanatory.
Yeah. Honestly, I think their duo is amazing and they finished in the top 4.
Yeah.
And with Jose Mourinho, how many Premier League titles has Jose Mourinho? 3 times?
3 times.
Respect.
Okay. Next up is gonna be Sheffield United.
I think they're going to be in the relegation zone. Big fan of Sheffield, big fan of Billy Sharp, but I think they won't make the cut this season.
Yeah.
Not many changes to the team, and they just can't rely on the players they currently have. The league's gotten a lot tougher since last season.
Yeah. I feel like
I agree.
last year they did really well because they were playing in a really different way. But now they found out they can't really do it because all of the other teams know how to play against them after a year in. and they're just setting up a lot more defensively than they normally do. They normally play like a bit more attacking, and they actually go at teams. So that's gonna be a bit of a problem because now they gotta make sure they don't concede, and then they just pray if they can score one goal. That's how it's looking at the moment, to be honest. Like, if they win, it's 1-0. If they lose, it's 1-0.
I think I'm going to be the only one who says that Sheffield aren't going to get relegated this season. I think they're going to be in a battle, but I think they'll make it out. I think it's kind of like a situation that's close to Sean Dyche. I think the players are run through a wall for Wilder. I think he's a top coach, personally. I think he'll and also if you look at the results don't really talk about the performances. For example, if you look at Liverpool, when we played Sheffield United, we barely got that win. If it wasn't for Diogo Jota, we would have drawn that game, and it would have been lucky to get the draw. Even I think Sheffield are a good team. They've got good performances, so I think they'll be safe. I think they'll manage to get a few results towards the middle of the season that will keep them up. I think they've got the quality.
I see what you're saying, but if you like, who's gonna? We already put West Brom and Fulham in relegation, right? Who's gonna be your third?
You'll see when we get to them.
We'll see. Okay, so you already have somebody in mind.
I do have someone in mind.
Like for me, I don't really want to put Sheffield there, but I feel like out of all the teams, I feel like they're gonna it's just gonna be them. Like they're gonna be the third, and it's gonna go to until the last few games, but they're gonna be one of them.
Okay, so the majority has spoken Sheffield relegation.
Yes.
Sorry, Robbie.
That's all
so the Blades are going through the ground to the championship.
Yes.
Okay, next up, we've got a team that's doing really well this season, Southampton.
Mid-table.
I think they're overachieving. It's not actually overachieving. I think just at the beginning of the season, a lot of teams dropped some points, and they needed some time to get going. And I think now is when teams are really top teams are really starting to get going. So it's not going to be as easy to be that high on the table for Southampton. A couple of weeks ago, they were first for I think 1 or 2 nights, but for a day. And I think it's going to be really hard for them to stay up in that table, but I think mid-table is fair for the team and for what they have to offer.
Yeah, they're relying much less on Danny Ings this season, but it's a matter of time.
That's because he was
rocky road.
Injured too.
Yeah, but they are getting the job done without him for once.
Yeah.
Considering last season he had most goals easily.
Yeah, I think I heard a stat like he had like almost 50% of their goals since last year.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like 44 or something like that, but almost.
That's crazy. Yeah, but I think what Danny's saying is right. I think they don't rely on Ings as much, but I think his injury is going to make them struggle. I think in those games where it could go either way, Danny Ings would normally be the tipping point for Southampton, which would get them over the line for a draw or a win or pick up some points. I think they're a good team. I think they'll cause some trouble for many of the teams in the league, but I don't think they've got the quality, especially without Danny Ings, to challenge more than mid-table. I think they're safe. I think they're comfortable. Mid-table for me.
To be honest, if this was last year's Premier League, I would put them higher than mid-table. But in this year, I feel like the quality of the Premier League has risen a lot, and I feel like is a lot more competitive. I think they're a good team, but they just need more to be able to get into those higher positions.
Okay, so I think we all agree with Southampton being in the
mid-table.
Agreed.
Okay, next one is Crystal Palace, Zaha and friends.
Okay, I'm gonna make a bold claim. I think Roy Hodgson is the best manager for the mid-table.
Okay.
I think if you got it.
Okay. I was waiting to see where that sentence was going.
I think he's the best in terms of that. Roy Hodgson just does the job. He will keep you in the Premier League longer than he's been alive, which is saying something. So I think with Roy Hodgson as the manager, also you've got Zaha and Eze. I think Palace comfortable mid-table, not going anywhere fast. Yeah, mid-table.
Well, Zaha has been underperforming this season, in my opinion. I don't think.
Well, that's when Eze comes into the picture.
True. But I think he's expected to give more than what he's currently giving this season, and it's quite disappointing to see him underperform this much. I think he's lost the spirit. He doesn't have the drive to play anymore. I think he just wants out of Palace. He's been wanting out of Palace for a couple of years now, and it's just not clicking for him.
He probably signed for a team like Milan.
Yeah.
He's got 5 goals already. How are you saying he's underperforming? I don't know. I don't agree with that.
It's not just about the stats, it's about the performances, the way he's playing. I don't think he has that drive anymore.
To be honest, I'm not watching Crystal Palace games. All I know, he has 5 goals so far this season.
I'm shocked that he's still not watching.
You don't watch Crystal Palace games?
Okay, so anyone not putting Palace in mid-table?
To be
I
honest,
think we all agree.
I kind of want to put them in the mid-table, but the thing is, I feel like we already have too many teams in there, no? So I kind of want to put them in the relegation battle.
Yeah, there's one spot left for the mid-table.
Yeah.
So honestly, I think Palace will go to relegation battle, but until now the majority wants them in mid-table. I'll tell you the teams that are still left, just for us to know. There's still Wolves, West Ham, and Newcastle.
Oh. You know West Ham have to be in the mid-table.
So anybody wants to change his mind or keep?
I think Crystal Palace should be in the relegation battle.
Yeah, I think that too. But
I think West Ham are closer to the relegation battle than Palace.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think Portugal can make it to the mid-table. I mean Wolves, sorry.
I think Wolves will compete for Europa League personally. So
Okay. So majority is putting
relegation battle, right?
No, mid-table.
No, mid-table.
Palace.
Mid-table.
For now, we can switch it up at the end.
It's the Roy Hodgson magic dust that he's
We've got the Palace Eagles flying to mid-table. Okay, next up, Newcastle.
Relegation battle.
Relegation battle for sure.
Yeah.
Relegated.
No debate about that. Yeah, they might get relegated, but I have them just lower than 15th.
Yeah, that's just what
for
they
sure.
do. That's just what they do. Like they just stay there for the past I don't know how many years.
I've got Newcastle in the relegation zone instead of Sheffield United.
Really?
I think they're a team full of average players with an average coach who has a below average nose. Like his nose is terrible. Every time I see it, I'm like, wow, like this guy should, like, you make a shit ton of money, just go get surgery, my G. It's not that hard. So yeah, I mean, for me, Newcastle, they're relying too heavily on Saint-Maximin, who was, to be fair to him, he's a quality player, but I think they just don't. I think they won't fight as hard as Burnley and Sheffield to stay up.
I feel like they made a lot of good signings, like Callum Wilson, Fraser, Hendricks. Those are all good players.
I think they're good players. But both Wilson and Fraser have been relegated before, and they've only been at Newcastle for a year, and so I think that I don't think they'll fight as hard as the players that Wilder or Daesh have. I think those games are really tough. They need to go on that result. I think they'll falter and end up losing.
I mean, I can see what you're saying, but we already have 3 teams in relegation. Let's put them in the relegation battle.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can go back and switch it up again at the end just to see where every team stands in relation to the others. So.
Okay. Next up, Wolves. Controversial one.
I have them top of the mid-table just outside the Europa League challenging teams, or maybe into the Europa League challenging teams spots.
Yeah, I want to say Europa League, but without Jota, it's going to be harder, but definitely still a chance.
Yeah,
Look at that Robbie grin, the Liverpool grin. I can see it from miles away.
Bro, I'm just waiting for the Diogo Jota song to come out anytime soon, to be honest.
Okay, so
Yeah,
So-
Wolves challenging for Europa League at best, top of the mid-table, if not.
so yeah,
I'd say that's
since we've got Wolves there, we've got a team, like we need to remove a team from mid-table and put them in the relegation battle if you want to put Wolves up there. So we have to remove either Leeds, Southampton, Crystal Palace, Brighton, or United.
I think
I think Leeds.
I think we could drop you United confidently to the relegation battle. Very confidently saying that.
I think we can take out Crystal Palace.
I think we can take out Leeds. First season, not sure how they're going to do, honestly.
Well, we have
Others,
conflicting.
what do you think?
Is Burnley also in the mid-table?
Burnley is in the relegation battle.
No.
Oh,
I'm going to
So
go West
relegation.
Ham for relegation battle.
Oh, so
No,
we
no,
have
but-
3 different opinions. It all comes down to me.
no, but now
No.
we
have
didn't
to put-
get to West Ham yet.
Yeah, you have to put Wolves in the mid-table, but we have to remove a team
Okay.
from mid-table to relegation battle.
Well, okay.
So what were the teams again?
Leeds,
Is Brighton the relegation battle, or?
no, it's in mid-table. We've got Brighton,
Yeah, I think Brighton,
Leeds, Crystal Palace, I think.
Brighton relegation. I think they have enough quality to not get relegated, but they'll be thereabouts.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of votes for different teams.
So then he said
We've got
Leeds, I
Leeds,
said
Palace,
Crystal
and-
Palace, Robbie said Brighton.
Yeah, KB.
I think it's a really hard to choose between the 3. I think all 3 have what it takes to be just above the relegation battle. Leeds have Bamford, who's been on an amazing form, and I know I haven't been pleased with Zaha lately, but I think he has the talent to give it, and Brighton just have again that X factor.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna go with Brighton.
Brighton, okay.
Yeah, I think it's safe to
I'll
say.
back
Yeah, I'm
Brighton
gonna
as
go
well.
with Brighton.
Okay.
We can take Brighton down.
So Brighton
Yeah.
is going down. Wolves is
Although
going
I don't
mid-table.
understand the hype on Crystal Palace, but that's okay.
Yeah, I was between Crystal Palace and Brighton, but let's go for Brighton. I don't mind. Finally,
Yeah, I'm just giving Crystal Palace the benefit of the doubt, to be honest.
Yeah, honestly. And finally, West Ham. So there's just one more spot for West Ham. In this
Mid-table.
relegation battle.
Mid-table.
Mid-table.
Relegation
Oh,
battle.
relegation battle. Yeah, fair enough. I
Yeah.
think that's about right. I think they'll be safe, but yeah.
To be honest,
Yeah,
like,
they'll struggle.
yeah. To be
Yeah.
honest, I think they're a much better team than last year. I would put them in mid-table, but like putting them in relegation battle doesn't mean they'll necessarily be in the battle. I think they'll be in the like top half of it. Like I think
Yes.
they'll do pretty well.
Okay.
I agree.
So, guys, there you have it. The rankings are up on the screen in front of you. Thanks, you guys, for joining in.
Thanks for having us, Mac.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers, mate.
And see you in the next one.